Disclaimer: this review contains spoilers for the story of the game. All credit goes to the creators of the game, and I am only criticizing the game, so please don't take anything too seriously. Please enjoy the review, and thanks for watching. Hatsune Miku Project Diva X Review by Wolfdog107. Hello everyone, I am Wolfdog107, and this is my review of Hatsune Miku Project Diva X. And yeah, let's get started. So this game is available on only PlayStation systems, mainly the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita. And this game is basically a rhythm game, and it's surrounded by Vocaloid characters. It's mainly within that department, and yeah, you get 6 different characters in this game, as well as a pretty interesting story mode, but it's fairly basic. You're not going to really get anywhere with it, except for just chatting with different characters and different types of like cutscenes and whatnot. Not too many different types of cutscenes, mainly the same visual novel type where you're just talking to them on screen. And yeah, and the characters are Hatsune Miku, Len, Rin, Luca, Kaito, and Meiko. Those are the only characters in the game, just 6 different characters. And the game's story is pretty interesting, but it's also a little too basic, and nothing else really happens after it. Basically what you do is you go around through these different cloud prisms, which are basically different auras that represent different things like quirkiness, coolness, stuff like that. You get 5 of them, 5 different cloud prisms they have to go through and refill their voltage, because apparently they ran out of voltage, and all of the different characters within this game have lost their ability to sing. And it's up to you, the player, to take up the role as manager and help them get back on the spotlight and figure out how to work with the different types of auras, aka cloud prisms. And you get the classic cloud prism, you get the quirky, cool, elegant, and cute cloud prisms as well. And they have pretty good songs, but some of them felt like that they didn't really go with their aura, and I felt like it was a little off. And same thing, like was a little bit like going on with the costumes in the game for some of the characters. I felt that stretched a little bit, and that it was a little weird that some of the content didn't fit with like some of the auras that they were supposed to be fitting with. But yeah, characters and story, pretty basic stuff, not too interesting, although I did like the characters a lot in this game. They were pretty cool. Now, for the gameplay, you basically get different types of notes. You got your star notes, which are ones where you have to flick the analog stick, or just flick up, down, left, to right with the touchpad as well. You could do that. You've got arrow notes, which are ones where you have to press both, like let's say if it was a red arrow, you have to press the circle button and right on the D-pad at the same time, right when that note comes up. And then there's the regular face button notes, which are X, circle, triangle, and square. And then there's hold notes, which you have to hold down the button for a specific amount of time until the note comes back, and then you can let go. And then you can also find chant star notes, which are basically these special star notes which will unlock the ability for the character on screen, the main performer on the screen, to transform into a new costume. Sometimes if you already have a good amount of costumes for like one character, then you'll notice that you'll get like one of the costumes you already have, and I found that to be annoying. And it happened to me a couple of times already, and I noticed like I already have this costume, I have that costume already, and it got a little annoying, but it wasn't too bad. But yeah, gameplay is pretty basic. But you also get some rush notes, which are where you have to press a button repeatedly, as many times as you possibly can. And then you also get different ratings for how good of a hit you land on a note. You get miss, wrong, aka just pressing the wrong button. And then you've also got ones where you just don't do great, like you just get bad. You get safe, which is just decent, just not cool or good. And then good is just pretty much one of the basics. And then cool is the best note rating you can get. And then you've also got technical zones, which are basically different boost sections that will come up during gameplay, and they'll have you knock like specific notes in one specific order without messing up. But if you mess up, you won't get the whole boost from that zone. And then you get the chance zone, or chance time, which is what it's called in this game. It's another kind of zone, but it's like a rainbow zone where you have to land the final hit on that star icon if it's a form of a rainbow star. But if it's not the rainbow color, then you won't really get the chance time effect to transform your character into a different costume. However, if the note or icon on the lower left of the screen during chance time is a rainbow star, then you will be able to get the character to transform into another costume. So you gotta make sure you land those chance time notes perfectly, or at least as best as you can, so you can get the new module or costume. And yeah, the gameplay's pretty basic. It can be pretty fun and challenging for specific songs on specific difficulties. And once you complete a track, you'll earn different items such as gifts or just accessories. And what the gifts do are basically they're different things that you can give to each of the characters to boost your friendship level with them. And I found myself doing this pretty often because there are different vocaloid characters I like, and the fact that you can just give them gifts to appreciate them, I found that to be pretty cool. It's a small little thing, I don't really mind it, but it is there if you want it. Yeah, you also get like mini games, which are ones that will just pop up where a character will ask you like what they should do for like the specific room or whatever, and it happens a lot and it can get annoying because it can come on you randomly. You never know when it's gonna happen. It'll just happen right away. But moving on to the next section, which is photo mode. Basically it's just that, it's a photo mode. But before we get to that part, we also got like the stats and all that, if in case you're interested in what they show for like records and whatnot. Yeah, it's some pretty basic stuff. But for the gameplay, you do like also get free mode or free play mode, which is where you can play any of the songs that you've already unlocked, but it has to be only ones that you've already unlocked. And you can only use costumes in free play mode that you've already unlocked. You can't just use everything off the bat, which I find a little weird. Like, it makes sense, but for those that like want like all the different difficulties right off the bat, I will have to say that you will have to complete the first section of the story mode first. You'll have to complete like all of the voltage stuff with each cloud prism, and once you do that, then you'll unlock the last two difficulties, being hard and extreme. Because if you're like if you're into like higher difficulties, then yeah, you're gonna have to like beat the first section of the story mode, just the part where you have to actually refill the cloud prisms. But once you do that, you'll have the difficulties unlocked. And now with photo mode here, it's a basic photo mode, nothing too special. You just get to like choose your backgrounds, filters, stuff like that. It was alright. Not really anything too special, it's just there if you want it. And you can also adjust the brightness. You also get a date display, image format. You also get a section for 2D images, which is basically the images that are in the background. Yeah, it's a basic photo mode, nothing too special. Didn't really see much like time get put into it, because I mean, it's photo mode. Yeah, it's photo mode pretty much. Yeah, the gameplay was pretty cool too. Yeah, I felt this game's photo mode was pretty basic. Nothing really there, to be honest. But yeah. Now, when it comes to features and songs of this game, you get some pretty good songs like Raspberry Monsters, SHAREfactory, and LOL, aka Lots of Laugh. Those are 3 of my most favorite songs by Hatsune and miku and all that. They're pretty good songs. The other songs that are in this game are pretty cool as well. And I found myself really enjoying most of these songs, although some of them, mainly the songs that were in the elegant section, they didn't really fit with elegancy. I don't know why they were put in the game like that. And they are good songs in general, but they felt more like pop songs rather than elegant songs. And I felt this game's definition of elegancy was a little weird. It didn't really make sense compared to what elegancy actually is. Especially when I think of what elegancy is. To me, I think it's more like relaxation, classical type music, or just fancy yet calm, cool, and collected type music, or royalty music, I guess. You're just a fancy kind of dude, kind of music like that. But the music in the elegancy aura, aka Cloud Prism, is mainly just pop music. It's not really elegant music, it's just more like pop music more than anything. So yeah, I felt like the songs in this game could have fit their auras maybe a little bit better. The songs in the cool Cloud Prism were pretty good, and they fit their aura just fine. Same thing for the quirky and whatnot. But I found the misplacement of songs to be in the elegant Cloud Prism at most, and I feel that could have been improved on, but I guess they probably didn't really care, because they were probably just trying to rush out the story mode, which I don't know. But yeah, besides that, you do get some pretty cool features, such as being able to customize the different characters and different costumes and accessories. And depending on what order that the song that you're about to play is in, means you can customize your character based around that different order. Such as if you're on the track The Lost One's Weeping, which is a cool track in this game's definition basically, in its Cloud Prism. In the song The Lost One's Weeping, you can just dress Serene up as in a cool looking outfit, and then put cool accessories on her, and then she'll have more of a better voltage rate at the end of the map, at the end of the track. And pretty much you can use accessories and modules to boost your score, and I found that to be pretty interesting, although it is pretty basic. But yeah, there is basic visual novel cutscenes mainly. There isn't really some actual cutscenes besides some rendered in-game engine type cutscenes. And those rendered in-game engine cutscenes will happen if you give a character a specific gift that they really like. And if you give it to them, then you'll get a special cutscene. and you'll really boost their friendship with you. And yeah, the gift system was pretty cool. Although if you're not really like familiar with Vocaloid and you give them a wrong gift, then you could ruin the friendship by a lot or a little. And here I gave Miku the pork buns, and then she ended up liking them a lot, and I got the special cutscene. And I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah. The gift minigames were pretty cool. But mainly the actual gift minigames are where you're like talking to a specific character or whatever, and then they like it's something that happens like right after a song, and when you're talking to that character, they'll be talking to you, and then they'll say like, hey, we should get something like that'll make this room a little more fancy or something like that, and then you'll be immediately forced into the gift menu, forcing you to give them a specific gift that will boost like the room's interior or something like that. It could be something along those lines, and I found it to be annoying because it would happen a lot, and then I would end up not having a gift that would fit interior, let alone just a gift in the interior section at all. And I found that to be really frustrating and annoying, and it would happen too often, so I will have to dock a point for that. The song list, it is pretty good. It's just that I think the amount of songs is a little disappointing. But besides all that, there is another cool feature which I really like, which is Concert Editor. And in this mode, you can edit like different tracks, music videos, and whatnot. And you can choose like the camera placement. You can choose the lighting, the stage effects, the spotlight effects, and all that, and stuff like that. And I found it to be pretty cool. And you can just do it for any of the songs in the game. And you can also choose like what costume that the character will be wearing originally, and then what costume they'll be wearing like after they transform. And you can choose like when the character will transform, and like what like spot effects there will be. You can choose some pretty cool stuff in this, and I found this concert editor mode to be really cool. And you can just figure out like some pretty cool camera placements. Sadly, you can't really customize them the way you want to. They're mainly just presets, so it's not too in depth. But I'm still glad that they have this like kind of mode in place. I found it to be pretty cool one. I've spent some time with it, and after going through it, I think Concert Editor is pretty cool, and I hope that they improve on it in the future, especially with their Switch title of Hatsune Miku coming out soon, or 2020, I mean. Yeah, Concert Editor was pretty good. I felt like they, what it gave was pretty cool. I like the fact that you can actually like switch different cameras around, but I do wish that you could have been able to like customize camera placement instead of having to choose different presets of different camera placements. Yeah. I found the different features in the game alone, aka the modes and all that, they were pretty cool. Got some pretty cool ones. I did feel like the different songs and modules, so that some of them didn't really go with their specific auras that well, such as like a quirky costume looking more cool rather than quirky, and like a elegant song not really like trying to supposed to match with the elegant aura, but it's more like a pop song. Those are some problems I have with the game. And the song amount I do think is pretty sad because it's only 30, and there's like a lot of Hatsune Miku songs out there, and not just Hatsune Miku songs, but other Vocaloid songs as well. And they could have had a lot more songs, but they didn't, and it's really disappointing. And for like a veteran player, it could be really damaging for them, and they might not really like the game that much, and I can understand why, but I don't think the game is like really terrible, no. In fact, I think it's a little bit better than some of the actual other Hatsune Miku Project Diva games out there, because they're mainly just like, well, compared to Future Tone, I think Project Diva X is a little bit better, because Future Tone is mainly just purchasing costumes with the in-game currency and just getting like different downloadable tracks for it, and just going through those different tracks, and there's pretty much just like 200 something tracks in Future Tone, and that's all Future Tone is just an arcade rhythm game. Whereas Project Diva X isn't just that. You have a pretty short amount of songs, yeah, but the actual other modes that are there do make up for that, and I feel that the amount of content is a little bit better sometimes when compared to like the correct like comparisons and whatnot. And I think in Hatsune Miku's case, I think Diva X is a little bit better than Future Tone, just in that regard, in terms of like how much content there is. And I feel like Future Tone doesn't really have too many features besides is like just getting costumes, that other photo mode or whatever that it has, and the amount of songs that it has, which is a pretty good amount, definitely. But I do feel like that Project Diva X has more interesting features in here, more than Future Tone. But yeah. And overall, the gameplay for both games are pretty good, but I say for the amount of content that you're getting in this game, I will have to say it's only worth $20 and not higher than that. I wouldn't say it's worth $30, maybe a little too much. $20 is just about right, which is how much I got it for. And yeah, I felt the cutscenes for like talking to different characters were pretty cool, and you can know different characters in different ways, like learning what kind of like music they like, what their personality is by reading the different dialogue pieces. But sadly, the characters don't really have voice acting either, except for like at specific moments. Even in those like event cutscenes where you're like given like a special cutscene with like one of the gifts that you gave to that character. And yeah, I felt like there could have been full voice acting for these characters, but there wasn't. But I just forgot what else I was going to say. Yeah, there's something else I was going to say. I forgot what it was just now. I think this game was pretty cool, and pretty much the content that it has versus the short amount of songs that it has. In general, I think this game was pretty cool. Trying to figure out what else I was gonna say. I did like the characters a lot, but some of the features in this game I felt were lacking a little bit, mainly the song selection. There are modifiers for different tracks in this game, and in free mode you can choose what modifiers you'll be using. and you'll also like get like different types of scores depending on how you do. It's a pretty basic game. You could also like really mess up a track if you end up not doing too well. I really can't remember what else I was gonna say. I just knew what I was gonna say at the last minute, but then I forgot it again. Oh yeah, there's another thing that I could say instead. Yeah, this game's lyrics you may see at the bottom left, they are in English, which is surprising because well, mainly they're just English, subtitled English, or English subtitles for the lyrics, and I like that a lot because in Future Tone the lyrics are in kanji, or I don't know if it's kanji, it might be something else, but basically just in the Japanese language, and I wish they weren't in the Japanese language for Future Tone because it kind of bugs me that I can't really understand what the lyrics mean because I can't read them in Japanese. I'm not good at that. But in Project Diva X, I can read them because they're in my language and I can understand them. And I like that feature a lot. I'm glad that they focused on that in Project Diva X. But in Future Tone, the lyrics are in Japanese, and you can't really read them. You can only see them, but you can't really understand what they were saying. But another thing is that before we get to the final verdict, I found the fact that you can have pretty much any performer on stage was pretty cool. But what was a little weird about that is that if you wanted, let's say Irene taking Hatsune Miku's place, she wouldn't perform the vocals. She would just have her mouth sync to the vocals, while Miku's voice would still be coming out of her mouth. And it would pretty much not really be Irene singing. She would just be performing, but she wouldn't really be singing. It would be Hatsune Miku's voice that would be singing, not Irene's. And I found that a little weird, and I kind of wish that they hadn't done it that way. I kind of wish that the player would have been able to change things up a bit, but I guess not. Another thing I liked was the difficulty was pretty interesting. Easy is pretty much easy. Normal was pretty normal, but it can get a little bit difficult, but not too much. Hard can be pretty daunting, but not too much. But extreme is where it really comes into play, because that's when the difficulty is really going to be amped up. And this goes for some tracks. Not all tracks are going to be too difficult, but most of them will be pretty daunting when it comes to difficulty. And I also found some of the costumes and accessories sometimes to be immersion breaking, and it would feel like the immersion would be broken by specific costumes and accessories that you choose, such as the steaming mad accessory, as you saw in that last few parts of that clip. But yeah, here is an example of the gift minigame coming up. Okay, so now I remember what I was going to talk about, but yeah, those are some problems I've had with the game, mainly the whole gift minigame, the immersion breaking with the costumes and accessories, as well as the voices being just their same old voices for specific characters when you wanted them to be for different characters that you were gonna have be the main performer. But now I will get to event requests, other features, and the final verdict. What event requests are different requests that you'll get from any different character in the game, and they'll have you perform like specific songs sometimes, or like specific types of songs perform on a specific stage, or sometimes you can just like go ahead and set up a regular concert in the game, and go ahead and have each of the characters like specific characters perform on stage 2 different songs in front of a concert in the game. And you can choose up to 3 songs and 1 stage. And you can choose any accessory, but if it's one of those like event requests where you're limited on what you can choose, then you can only choose out of the options that you're given. And I found this feature to be pretty cool and allowed to like change things up a little bit, and I found it pretty cool. And one of the requests that Miku gave me was to like have her sing me one of my favorite songs, and I just ended up going with Satisfaction because that's one of my favorite songs that she's done. So yeah, I found the event request mode to be pretty cool. And then you can also do the remodel feature in this game, which is where you can just basically change what the background of your hub in this game is. You can make it like change from Hatsune Miku's room, Meiko's room, Kaito's room, and then you can also change it to like a nightclub, a place under sakura trees. You can change it to like a nightclub and all that. Pretty cool feature. You can also have a gallery in this game and check out like different artworks that you've unlocked, as well as different cutscenes and pretty much stuff like that. You can also choose to customize a different character in your hub world and have them like replace like Hatsune Miku in the hub world. Basically, which characters like on screen when you're in the hub at the main menu, scrolling through, finding out what you're gonna do next. That's what I mean. You can just choose like which character will be on the screen at that time when you're in the main menu, and choose what outfit they'll be wearing, what accessories they'll have on. So I found that to be pretty cool as well. And the gameplay was also pretty fun, making for some pretty cool note timings, and the songs in general were pretty good. It's just that the problems I had with the game, mainly with the immersion breaking, the accessories, outfits, and songs not really matching up with specific auras, as well, and aka the cloud prisms. Some of them just didn't really match up with those cloud prisms, such as the some of the songs of the elegant section not really matching up to the word of elegant, and I found that a little weird. And then there was many costumes in the game that were apparently quirky to them and not cool, and they could have been like under the cool category, but apparently they were under the quirky category, and I found that to be a little weird as well. The whole thing where if you want a different performer instead of Hatsune Miku, but it's still Hatsune Miku singing, I also found that to be really annoying. But there's also the short amount of songs with only 30 songs and 5 different sections of the game. Pretty short story mode where you only have to refill the voltage pretty much like 6 or 7 times, because once you do it the first time, then you unlock the other difficulties, and then you also have to redo some of the songs, or pretty much all the songs over again, over and over, in whichever difficulty is you want. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to obviously just be forced to choose a different difficulty. You can like just do it any way you want. It's just that when you have to replay the songs over and over to collect crystals that come out of the cloud prisms after you've already completed the first stage of story mode, you do want to complete it, but at the same time you don't, because you feel like you just beat the game already. And I feel like this game will drag on for a little too long than it needs to. And yeah, those are basically my main problems with the game. The immersion breaking, the replayability was there in some ways, but it kind of fell short in some other ways. And then the Mainly just the immersion break, and I had a huge problem with both in this game and Future Tone. Yeah, in Future Tone and Diva X, there's some immersion breaking, and I found that to be really annoying. Some of it you can fix, obviously, but for the parts that you can't really fix, I found it to be really annoying. And I wish that the immersion break-in wasn't really there. But the difficulty in this game was pretty good. But the fact that players will have to go through the first stage of the story mode and have to unlock the difficulties that way, I do think that could be annoying for some veterans, or they'll just want to unlock the difficulties right away. I understand, but I don't think it's too bad. I thought it was alright. It's a fair amount. It's not too long. It doesn't really take too long. It only takes 3 to 4 hours to complete the first stage of the story mode. You're just listening to some pretty cool songs the whole time. Or maybe not 3 to 4 hours, but maybe 1 to 4 hours, I guess. Well, maybe not 1 hour, that'd probably be too short, but yeah, you'll just be going through the game, collecting different tracks as you go, modules, accessories, and whatnot. And overall, this game has some pretty cool content, but there's some problems that are keeping it from a high score. But there are some good things about it, such as the different modes that there are, which I really appreciated, especially the concert editor. But I do wish in that mode where you could actually move around the cameras instead of picking camera set presets. And I wish you could actually move them around instead, so yeah. Overall, the final verdict for Hatsune Miku Project Diva X is none other than a 7 out of 10. And yeah, this has been WolfDog007, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, 7 out of 10 for Hatsune Miku Project Diva X. Peace out, WolfDog out.